Do you think that this administration is on a selective mission when it comes to corruption? Because I'm looking at situations like I saw on the news that a gentleman in Edo State took former Governor Oshomole to court, and I don't see anything happening to that case, and a lot of other cases. But Chief Onogen's case, the Chief Justice case that has just taken less than a week to be mentioned, gone to court
within a matter of days, yeah.
And I have never seen justice work in that way.
That's not justice. That is an abuse of power, and it's completely unacceptable. And yes, the government has been very selective in its administration of justice. They target opposition figures, they target them, demonize them, tell lies about them, lock them up. I was locked up for 60 days in cells with Boko Haram inmates, and this is what they continuously do. And anybody that criticizes them, Deji Adeyoju, one of the most courageous young activists that we have in this country, has been locked up for 50 days in Kanu prison simply because he criticized the government. And they locked him up for a case that was concluded 15 years ago in which he was discharged and acquitted. But because he was criticizing the government, they locked him up, he got bail, they released him, he was arrested again, locked up again, got bail, released. Third time, he was arrested, locked up again, and he's been there ever since. And just yesterday, when he applied for bail, they were about to give him bail in the Kanu court. They now came up with other charges against him, this time for attempted murder. They just want to keep him out of circulation. Look at Dasuki. Sambo Dasuki has been there for the last 3.5 years against 6 court orders. Release him, they refused to release him. Look at El Zakzaki. He was shot in the eye. His home was burnt down. His people were slaughtered. His children were killed. His wife was shot in the stomach 4 times. They detained him and his wife for the last 3 years against court orders and so on and so forth. I mean, I could go on and on and on. This is what they do. But when it comes to their own, people like Oshimole, Rotimi Amechi, so many of them, they never touch them. They never investigate them. And even when they do, it's all a fake investigation, and they always let them go. Recently, they've now charged Babachir Lawal and Oke to court. It's interesting that Oke has left the country. The former DG of NIA. He managed to slip out of the country. That couldn't happen if he was a member of the opposition. That couldn't have happened if he wasn't part and parcel of Buhari's government. They let him out of the country. They don't really want to prosecute any of their own. They've been protecting their own people. I mean, I could go on and on. So many gates, if you like.
Femi is there that the former minister...
Yeah, she too was whisked out of the country. This is what they do. Buhari's policy is not to fight corruption. It's to wage a war against the opposition and anybody that is a critic. Look at what they did to Nnamdi Kanu. It's unprecedented. Go to his house, kill people. They did all that they did. The military did that. This is completely unlawful, lawless behavior. And eventually, he disappeared. Now he's out of the country, self-imposed exile. And who can blame him for that? Because does anybody really believe he can get justice in this country under this administration? It's a very, very precarious situation that we're in, and that is why many of us feel that the only way forward is to vote him out of office this month.
Do you think that was why the national chairman of APC made the famous statement that come to APC and your sins are forgiven?
Well, that is precisely what I'm trying to say. That confirms what I'm saying here. I mean, it's not about justice. It's about, if you're with us, you can get away with murder. If you're not with us, you won't get away with even sleeping in your house without doing anything wrong. I mean, we will pin something on you, even if you've done nothing wrong, and we'll demonize you, and we'll harass your family, we'll mess you all up. I mean, my 1-year-old son, he was 1 year old at the time, and my wife was detained in a bank for 6 hours for no reason at all. They wanted to put her in a Black Maria and take her to Abuja for no reason at all, absolutely no reason. And eventually, one of the governors intervened, Governor Fayose, and that's how she was saved. And up till now, we've heard nothing about that because there was nothing, there was no case, there was nothing. She's never done anything wrong. She's never been involved in government. So this is what they do, just to harass people and intimidate people and cause them to be silent. The media has also been, badly treated, have been muffled. I had, about 3 columns in the newspapers were closed down. They closed down my columns. They threatened publishers not to publish my stuff. Even on internet magazines, they threatened the owners not to publish my write-ups and so on and so forth because they didn't like what I was writing about them. And they've muzzled the media in this country. It was difficult to get anything that is strongly against his government in any newspaper in the country, because everybody's scared. The television stations, NBC, I mean, as you may well know, is always hounding them, fining them, and telling them that if you write this, if you allow so and so. In fact, I've been banned from going on air, so I'll be surprised if this is on air. They don't like it when people criticize them. Now, during this election season, it's a little bit easier because they can't keep everybody off. But there are some people that they've marked down and they've said, look, these people must never appear on air. Why? Because we speak truth, and we always hit them where it hurts them the most, and they don't like it. They can't take it.